In part two of a special primetime news report on the state of mangroves, Krista Campbell revisits Refuge Key close to Port Royal for a first-hand look at how solid waste is destroying the wetlands.
Arriving at Refuge Key just off the shores of Port Royal, an unpleasant greeting. Garbage in the waters of the Kingston Harbour, which were not there when I last visited in January 2020.
Whenever we have, significant periods of rainfall or any period of rainfall, the gullies tend to empty. And as they empty, it brings that garbage across the harbour and over to areas like Refuge Key.
A closer look at the solid waste on Refuge Key showed much more plastic than I had time to count. Now, much of the garbage here included household items such as bleach containers, rice bags, slippers, and of note, old refrigerators. I counted 6 of them. But Senior Scientific Officer at the University of the West Indies Centre for Marine Sciences, CMS, Patrice Francis, says there's significantly less plastic since the national ban on single-use plastic took effect in January last year. Booms, which were installed at sections of Refuge Key, had been keeping a significant portion of garbage from the mangroves, but
the anchors that were placed on the booms were stolen, so the booms are now falling onto each other, and we're planning to remove them since they no longer serve the purpose of keeping the garbage from the quay.
Still off the coast of Port Royal, in another mangrove forest called Gallows Point, even more garbage. We're told it's how Refuge Key would look without the protection of the booms.
So in order to get to the soil over here, we would have to dig down to more than a feet before we get any. But further into the forest, about 100 meters in, because of all of the mangroves that block off the garbage from getting in there, when we reach that far in, there's barely any garbage at all. And basically inside, the conditions are like pristine.
Now the garbage at Gallows Point has never been cleaned, and CMS says it will cost a pretty sum to remove over 20 years of garbage buildup. Meanwhile, at Refuge Key, funding is being sourced for another cleanup. The area was first cleaned in 2018 at an estimated $7 million.
Getting members from the Port Royal community to assist us with removing all garbage along the North Shore. So they would bag the garbage, then we'll take it by boat to land, and a contractor was brought in to bring it to the dump. Over 8,000 bags of garbage plus the larger appliances, and it was about, I would say, maybe between 25 to 30 truckloads.
Another $1 million was spent on replanting mangroves at Refuge Key, which are now under threat by the current garbage pileup.
The garbage impacts the young plants that would cause the forest to grow and regenerate, but also the older plants that are there to keep the stability and provide young plants as well.
Any threat to Refuge Key is a threat to important infrastructure like the nearby Norman Manley International Airport, which the mangroves help to protect against storm surges. And fishing is also under threat. Now, juvenile fish hide out in the mangroves from predators in the open sea. When they mature, they migrate to the reefs where there is a bigger supply of food.
You're starting to hear some small complaints in the Port Royal area. They're complaining mostly for the fishermen in Port Royal that it's difficult to find bait fish. The way how they fish, they tend to come and catch bait fish from the mangroves and then go out onto the reef to catch a larger fish that would like the snappers and stuff like that.
In the final part of our special report on threats to the island's mangroves, we look at the issue of squatting on wetlands. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Still ahead this evening in international news, drug epidemic in the United States at its deadliest level ever. Please stay with us.